In vandag se les gaan ons hersiening doen oor voegwoorde. In today's lesson, we are going to do revision on conjunctions. Kan jy nog onthou wat 'n voegwoord is? Can you still remember what a conjunction is? Voegwoorde bind sinne aan mekaar. Voegwoorde is soos die gom wat twee sinne bymekaar voeg. Conjunctions join sentences together. They are the glue that keep two sentences together. They make one sentence out of two sentences. So kom ons kyk na 'n voorbeeld van hoe 'n voegwoord werk. Let's look at an example of how a conjunction works. Die vraag sal sê, verbind die volgende sinne met die voegwoord in hakkies. The question that will be given to you will say, verbind, join, die volgende sinne, the following sentences, met die voegwoord in hakkies, with a conjunction in brackets. Dan gaan twee sinne vir jou gegee word. Die seun leer hard, hy wil goed presteer. En in hakkies word die voegwoord gegee. Two sentences will then be given to you. Die seun leer hard, the boy studies hard, hy wil goed presteer. He wants to achieve good marks. And in brackets, the conjunction will be given omdat, because. You have to now join these two sentences using the conjunction in brackets. Kom ons kyk na die antwoord. Die seun leer hard omdat hy goed wil presteer. So we usually put the conjunction in between the two sentences, but a few changes take place in order for the sentences to be joined together. So daar is 'n paar veranderingkies wat plaasvind. Ons sit gewoonlik die voegwoord tussen die twee sinne, maar in die tweede sin gaan ons veranderingkies maak sodat die sin saam korrek is. So what will happen is the changes will happen in the second sentence, and that is going to tell us what we need to change in order for the sentence to be correct. In Afrikaans verdeel ons voegwoorde in 3 groepe. So in Afrikaans, we separate our conjunctions into 3 groups. The group in which the conjunction belongs will tell us what we need to do with sentence number 2. For example, in group 1, all of the conjunctions that belong to group 1 will follow the rule for group 1. In group 2, all of the conjunctions that belong to group 2 will follow the rule for group 2. In group 3, all of the conjunctions that are in group 3 will follow the rule for group 3. And remember, all of the changes will happen in the second sentence. Okay, so let's quickly look at group 1 conjunctions. If you see any of these conjunctions, that means they belong to group 1 and we need to follow the rules for group 1. En, maar, want, asook, of, trouwens, inteendeel, sowel as, nog en nog, of en of. And, but, because, as well as, or, therefore, as well as, neither nor, either or. All right, so those are all group 1 conjunctions and they will follow group 1 rule. Now we'll look at the rule just now. Let's go to group 2 conjunctions. Group 2 conjunctions, dus, daarom, dan, daarna, derhalwe. Toe, anders, toch, gevolglik en intussen. So therefore, then, thereafter, besides, when, otherwise, still, as a result of, and in the meantime are all group 2 conjunctions. Let's look at the conjunctions that belong to group 3. Group 3 conjunctions are dat, sodat, omdat, nadat, terwyl, alhoewel, aangesien, as, wanneer en sodra. That, so that, because, afterwards, while, even though, seeing as though, as, when, and once are all group 3 conjunctions. All right, now look carefully at the position of these conjunctions. Group 1 is in the first place, group 2 is in the middle, and group 3 is last. Now that is very important because that tells us more or less what the rule for that group is. All right, so let's look at group 1. What is the rule for group 1? If you see a conjunction that belongs to group 1, as jy 'n voegwoord sien, wat in groep 1 behoort. That means that the second sentence does not change. Dit beteken daar is geen woordorde wat verander nie. So, omdat hierdie groep eerste is, verander die woordorde van die tweede sin nie. Because this conjunction belongs to group 1 and group 1 is the first group, we don't change the word order of the second sentence. We simply put the conjunction in between the two sentences. All right, so think of group 1 as the oldest child, and the oldest child is perfect. So we don't want to change anything. All right, so let's look at an example. Jessa eet 'n roomys. Jessa eats an ice cream. Dit is vreeslik warm vandag. It's really warm today. And the conjunction want, die voegwoord want, is given in brackets. Okay, so we need to join these two sentences with the conjunction want. Now, want belongs to group 1. Want is 'n groep 1 voegwoord. Dit beteken ons gaan want in die middel van die twee sinne sit en ons gaan niks aan die sinne verander nie. We're going to put want in between the two sentences and we're not going to change any word order. So we write down sentence 1 exactly as it is. Jessa eet 'n roomys. We add a comma, we write the conjunction want, and we write the second sentence exactly as it is. Dit is vreeslik warm vandag. Jessa eet 'n roomys want dit is vreeslik warm vandag. So, Jessa eats an ice cream because it's really warm today. And that is how we handle any group 1 conjunction. If the conjunction belongs to group 1, we don't change the word order. As die voegwoord in groep 1 is, hoef ons glad nie die woordorde te verander nie. So that's a nice easy one. Kom ons kyk na groep 2 voegwoorde. Group 2 is in die middel. Did you see that group 2 is in the middle? So group 2 is the middle child, okay? Now, because group 2 is the middle child, that means that we need to move the first verb in the second sentence to the middle, okay? So what we are going to do is we are going to write the first sentence exactly as it is. We are going to write our group 2 conjunction. Then we are going to move the verb behind the conjunction. And then we write the rest of sentence 2 exactly as it is. Alright. So omdat groep 2 in die middel is, skuif ons die eerste werkwoord in die tweede sin na die middel net na die voegwoord. Because group 2 is in the middle, we move the first verb from the second sentence to the middle just behind the conjunction. Okay, so let's look at the example. Jessa se roomys smelt, sy eet dit vinnig en die voegwoord wat gegee is daarom. So we have the sentence Jessa's ice cream is melting and the second sentence she eats it quickly and the conjunction daarom, therefore. Okay, so if we have to join the two sentences, we write sentence 1 exactly as it is. Then we write the conjunction. You can see my arrow is telling me that daarom has been added. Then I identify my verb in the second sentence. Now, if I look at my second sentence, sy eet dit vinnig. Eat is my verb. So I have to move that to the middle. So I'm going to write eat behind the conjunction. Now I'm left with sy, dit, and vinnig. And I write it in exactly the same order. Sy, dit, vinnig. All right, so that's it. And then the sentence will read, Jessa se roomys smelt, daarom eet sy dit vinnig. Jessa's ice cream is melting, therefore she eats it quickly. And that is group 2 conjunctions. Dit is die reël vir groep 2 voegwoorde. Kom ons kyk na groep 3. Let's look at group 3 conjunctions. All right, now you saw that group 3 was the last group. So that tells us where the verb must go. Vir groep 3 voegwoorde gaan ons die werkwoord in die tweede sin na agter skuif. For group 3 conjunctions, we are going to move the verb in the second sentence to the back of the sentence. Okay, because it's at the back. Group 3 is at the back. So omdat hierdie groep agter is, skuif ons die werkwoord in die tweede sin na agter. Because this group is at the back, we move the verb in the second sentence to the back. Now sometimes you are going to get more than one verb. All you need to do is move both verbs to the back. Keep verb 1 in front of verb 2. All right, except for het, but we will deal with het just now. Let's look at an example. Jessa eet haar roomys sy loop op die strand. En die voegwoord wat vir ons gegee is terwyl. Okay, so Jessa eats her ice cream, and the second sentence, she walks on the beach, and the conjunction that has been given to us is while, terwyl. Now, terwyl is a group 3 voegwoord. It's a group 3 conjunction. So this means I need to identify the verb in the second sentence and remember to move it to the back. So that means I'm going to write everything else that's left of the second sentence in exactly the same word order, except the verb. The verb is going to move to the back. Okay, so I rewrite sentence number 1, Jessa eet haar roomys. I add my comma, I add my conjunction. Then I write whatever is there of the second sentence besides the verb. So I'm going to write say, I'm going to write op die strand, and then I'm going to put my verb at the end of the sentence, loop. Okay, so let's read the sentence. Jessa eet haar roomys terwyl sy op die strand loop. Jessa eats her ice cream while she's walking on the beach. And there you go. Kom ons kyk gou wat gebeur as ons 'n groep 3 voegwoord het en ons het die werkwoord het in die sin. So let's look at what happens if we have a group 3 conjunction, but we also have the verb het in the second sentence. Okay, so het has a golden rule. Het is the only verb 1 that can stand behind verb 2 in a sentence. It must stand behind verb 2 in a sentence. Okay, so remember that. Het is die enigste werkwoord 1 wat aan die einde van die sin geplaas kan word. It's the only verb that can be placed at the end of the sentence behind verb 2. Okay, so let's look at an example. Jessa eet haar roomys, Jessa eats her ice cream. Sy het dit gekoop. She bought it. And in brackets, nadat, after. Okay, so nadat is a group 3 conjunction, which means I need to move my verbs to the back. Okay, now because I need to move my verbs to the back, and het is verb 1 and gekoop is verb 2, as soon as I see het, I know that it needs to be right at the end of the sentence. Okay, so we are going to write sentence number 1 exactly as it is. We add our comma and we add our conjunction. So now we have Jessa eet haar roomys nadat. And I write everything that is left of sentence 2, sy, and dit. And then I write my verbs, gekoop, and lastly, het. So let's read the sentence. Jessa eet haar roomys nadat sy dit gekoop het. Jessa eats her ice cream after she buys it. Okay, so that is what happens to het. It's the only verb 1 that goes behind verb 2 when we deal with a group 3 conjunction. Okay. Kom ons doen vandag 'n oefeningkie. Let's do an exercise, okay? What I want you to do is I want you to join the sentences below with the conjunction in brackets. I want you to identify the verb in the second sentence first, decide which group your conjunction belongs to, and then join the sentences together. So verbind die volgende sinne met die voegwoord in hakkies. So kom ons kyk gou na die sinne. Let's look at the sentences. Nommer 1, die meisie doen haar huiswerk, sy kry goeie punte, en die voegwoord is daarom. The girl does her homework, she gets good marks, and the conjunction, therefore. Nommer 2, ek is baie bly, dit is amper Kersfees, en my voegwoord, omdat. Right, I'm very glad, it is almost Christmas, and my conjunction, because. Nommer 3, Jack is bekommerd, sy tas is weg, en die voegwoord is want. Jack is worried, his bag has disappeared, and the conjunction is because. Okay. So omdat and because mean the same thing. Omdat and want mean the same thing. They both mean because, but remember they belong to 2 different groups. Okay, in Afrikaans they belong to 2 different groups. So I want you to do this exercise in your notebook, and once you're done, move on to the answers. Okay, kom ons kyk gou na die antwoorde. Let's look at the answers. So we had to join the 2 sentences, and the first one we see there is die meisie doen haar huiswerk, daarom kry sy goeie punte. Daarom was a group 2 conjunction. So that means my verb in the second sentence, kry, needed to move to the middle. Okay, so that's why kry is behind the conjunction here. And then I wrote the rest of the second sentence. So the girl did her homework, therefore she gets good marks. Nommer 2, ek is baie bly omdat dit amper Kersfees is. Okay, so omdat was a group 3 conjunction, which means the verb in the second sentence is needed to move all the way to the back of the sentence. So I'm very happy because it's almost Christmas. Nommer 3, Jack is bekommerd want sy tas is weg. That was a nice easy one. Want is 'n groep 1 voegwoord, so daar's geen veranderinge nie. Want was a group 1 conjunction, so no changes happened in any of the sentences. I hope you got them all right.